Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of Reality Derby. I am Marcus James Dixon.
And I'm Denton Davidson, and it finally is here. Survivor
Finally.
50 has aired, and we have thoughts and we have interviews.
We have been talking about this show for, it feels like 50 years, but I mean, they announced the cast last May, so we really have been talking about it for a full year.
Yeah, and we're excited to have the first two cast-offs. Not as excited about who they actually are. I was kind of heartbroken at the end of the episode.
I know. So we're going to speak with Jenna first. Do not call her a legend. She does not feel like she's earned the term legend. And then we will talk to Kyle, who unfortunately was medevac in the first episode.
Shame.
All right, we are here with Survivor legend Jenna from season 1 and season 8. How do you feel about that word legend?
I actually, before this season, everyone kept saying legend, and I said, that's undeserved. I'm an icon. I'm a representative of a cultural shift and like big event in cultural history, and I'm known, but you don't get legend until you win. So I don't think I deserve legend. I'll take icon because I think that's fair, being one of the first people out there. But legend, you got to earn, and I haven't done it yet.
Okay, well, icon, that's not bad.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And unfortunately, you were the first person voted out of Survivor 50. I loved what you said at the end, first in, first out. Tell us about that moment and why you said that.
I said first in, first out. Number one, I'm on the first season of Survivor, so like I was the first person to go to tribal council ever. But also Jeff had told me when he called me, I was the very first person that he called. So I was kind of thinking in my head too. I started the idea of like who is gonna play, and out she goes, like first in, first out. So it was kind of a twosome meaning.
So you started this game hard. You were going after Cirie right away. And I have to say, Jeff told everybody he wanted you to, you're shaking your head.
I didn't say her name first. This is like the big thing. This is Christian. Christian's playing the game hard. He came to me and he said, like, who do you think, threat? And then he goes over and sits next to Cirie and then goes, did you see who I sat by? I was like, yes. He goes, Cirie's like, she's a big threat. If she makes a merge or a tribe swap, like she'll be lost in the wind and we'll never have a chance again. Christian. And then, since I have a minute of your time and I like to talk, I will tell you about the Easter egg in that episode where Christian says that he's Spock and Devins is Captain Kirk. And he says, I'm going to think of everything and I'm going to send you to do all of my work and dirty work. And what happens? Devin goes to the water well and tells Cirie that I named her name. I didn't say it first. I definitely was like, sure, Christian, if you want that, if you want to go there, because when I landed, I felt completely uncomfortable. Like I just felt like people were having conversations without me. Come to find out, there were so many pre-game connections, and I haven't been in touch with anyone. I've never spoken to anyone on that tribe before. I follow no one on social media. I had watched their seasons, but nothing. Everybody was talking. Everybody had alliances. Christian and Emily, they call each other very good friends out of the game and pre-gaming. Before he said, I consider her a very good friend. And then Ozzy and Cirie, good friends. They've known each other 15 years or 20 years or whatever. How nice would it be to start a social game with a very good friend? Like the kind of confidence and trust that you have, you can play an incredible game. I know because that's what I did on All Stars. I felt comfortable on All Stars. I knew everybody. So I know how that feels. And I didn't have it this time. I had nobody. I felt it. So yeah, I went hard and fast because the alternative was rolling over and dying. And I really tried to get Savannah and Joe to kind of come together. I see me at the water hole, like, hey guys, like nobody was talking about like, yes, we're together. Christian, Devins, and Emily were, and you could see it. And you kind of knew Ozzy and Cirie were, which I kept saying, why do you not want to vote out the doubles? First of all, the doubles has never worked for anyone else around the doubles. It never pans out well. Joe, let's talk about Camilla and Kyle. Like, get rid of the two that are absolutely like, Ozzy comes to your rescue. Like, it was obvious. Like, I think Ozzy was put on there just to keep Cirie. So obvious. So yes, of course I wanted Cirie after that challenge. I don't know if you know, but They showed it like it was 2 minutes, but it was at God's honest 20 minutes more
Wow.
of her throwing that ball. And Kyle said it with me today on the show. That's not hyperbolic. That is an accurate description. They were halfway through the puzzle. She did it that many times. Jeff the entire time kept saying, the biggest gap we've ever seen is the longest we've sat and waited for one person. That bad. That's why you hear Joe and Savannah going, she tanked that challenge for us. Yeah. Like, absolutely. And Cirie's a nice woman. But before the merge, she's a liability, and you never know who's going to be the collateral damage.
Right. I mean, if she's not out first, she's going to make it to the very end. She's proved that over and over and over again. I'm curious because the tribe at the challenge, the tribe gets to, strategize who goes where. Do you remember whose decision was it to put Cirie on the throwing part?
Oh, absolutely. That was Cirie. And not just, I'll do it. No. It was so adamant that Savannah goes, I just did this 3 weeks ago. I was really good at it. I'm not kidding. Not kidding. She's like, I can do it. I really can. Cirie goes, I've been practicing. No, 3 times in a row. She was, I'm doing this. And then she had the largest gap in history. It was awful. It was mind-boggling bad. I've been in a lot of challenges in 2 other big seasons and 3rd season of Survivor. Never seen anything like that.
You are the only person in the world that can tell the difference between season 1 and season 50. If you could pinpoint like one thing from the production standpoint, maybe.
From production standpoint, I would say, well, I mean, that we had like one cameraman on Survivor 1, like one audio guy. So you were allowed to like run off, have all these conversations. You could talk all the time. We get there, and I was so shocked by this. You get in the boat, like to be carried to the challenges, and they're like, on ice. I was like, what the hell does that mean? Like, I'll take a vodka on ice. Like, no, you can't speak. You can't look at the other contestants. I was like, what the hell? So when they, at the end of like the day that you're going to tribal council, they like stop you from talking. And I was like, just out of a conversation where I felt like I was definitely going to get more votes than I had anticipated. And I was like, I can't even go talk to you. Can't say anything. So it's that, or bring it up at tribal, which I didn't want to do in case I was wrong on what I was feeling. I didn't want to throw my other alliance or not. It was not an alliance. I was not in anyone's alliance. I was trying to like slip into Christian's DM alliance, but didn't work. Like I was trying too hard, too fast. Well, the young schoolers, new era kids, they were not trying at all. Like there was no strategizing, no cohesion. And I know this not because like they edited it that way. I got to talk to them. I've talked to them after the show. We've had 8 months. And you saw it as they sat on the log. Like, I don't want to vote for Jenna. Like they didn't, but they certainly weren't in the defining groups of Cirie and Ozzy, and then Devin's, Christian, and Emily. So they just weren't coming together. I was trying. You saw me going the duos. You saw me at the water well going, we have to make a decision. We have to do something. I don't know. This like new era fast. Apparently I'm much, much faster. Maybe I'm like, I don't know, the Flash, and I'm like, they look slow in comparison, but I don't get it. It was not a fast moving game. Christian was definitely more involved than I thought, but that's pretty much like Richard Hatch. Like there's always somebody that's diabolically smarter than you. But as far as like fast gameplay, I didn't see it. But I'd rather go down fighting any day than like rolling over and dying and being like, oh, they're going to vote me off. I don't have any friends.
I mean, Jeff said at the beginning, he wants you all to give everything. And I feel like you did that. I hope you, I hope you don't have a lot of regrets.
No, I have no regrets. I definitely don't have any regrets. I wish that my light was working because it looks like I've got like black eyes right now, but I have absolutely no regrets. And in fact, I have the opposite. I have a deep love for this game. And watching the edit after waiting 8 months where you think, oh my God, they could make me, you remember things you said and you're like, they could put that in there. It would make me look so bad. I was so dumb. They edited me and gave me a love letter. Like they got the gist of my entire game. And then at the beginning, it was like I'll cry thinking about it. Like that, it was beautiful. And I think it was like, to me, it was like a send off, like, thank you for giving us your everything for 25 years. And it felt like that. So I'm very grateful.
All right. That is Jenna, one of my favorite all-time players.
Yeah, I agree. She's not a legend.
That's rude. She is a legend.
Whatever.
You know what? She's just not the first person I think of from season 1. However, I was rooting for her, and I'm disappointed she was the first one to go.
When you think of season 1, who do you think of?
I mean, Rich and Suhak.
And Rudy.
And Rudy.
Rest in peace, Rudy. Yeah. So, okay, we're also going to talk to Kyle, who was medevaced, and then on the back end, we will talk about our thoughts on the season premiere. So here is Kyle. Okay, Kyle, please give us a progress report. How is your Achilles tendon doing after all of these months later?
Yeah, so I'm 8 months in. I am starting to run again. So I'm jogging. I could probably jog like a full mile. I think I'll probably try to do that the first time this week. I had to get surgery. Obviously, it's an 8 to 12 month recovery process. I'm on the latter end of that now, and I hope to be sprinting and jumping soon and stuff like that. But it's an arduous process, and I've gotten through most of it, so I'm excited about that.
What was it like watching it on TV last night and having all those memories flood back?
Yeah, I mean, it was trippy. There was like some cutting and editing there because I actually had gotten up the wall previously, and then I had to come back down to help out the rest of the tribe, and then I went back up, and that's when I tore my Achilles. So it was trippy, but honestly, like it was more so cool to be able to finally talk about it and to say like, hey, this happened to me, and I got to play this game, and I lost. But that's just how it shook out for me.
I mean, you know what it feels like to win, and now you know what it feels like to be medevaced. You still have never experienced the vote out. Is that something that you crave as a survivor? Do you want to be voted out one day?
It's funny. When I was talking to Jeff when I was getting medevaced, obviously that last conversation, I told him like I don't want to go out this way. Like, of course I can say now that I haven't been voted out, but the survivor fan in me, the survivor player in me, to be honest, the man who respects this game, if I wanted to go, I wanted my torch to be snuffed. Like I wanted to go out swinging. And I think I went out swinging in a different way, but it was still tough. I wanted to see tribal council.
So speaking of tribal council, if you had gone with your tribe, who would have been your first target?
I think I was probably trying to target Aubrey. I knew that Genevieve and her, Genevieve was my number one. I knew that Genevieve and her weren't quite in the best sort of, they didn't have the best working relationship, although I think they were fine, like personally. And so I liked Angelina a lot, even though Aubrey and Angelina were the two that sort of weren't cemented in the alliance per se. But I liked Angelina a lot, and I had an alliance with her, so I would have targeted Aubrey most likely, even though I like Aubrey too.
And of course, your big storyline in season 48 was you and Camilla. You had this really, really great bond together. What would have happened in season 50 if you two had made it to the merge? Do you think you would have worked together again?
I would like to. I don't know if Camilla would have needed me or not, but I certainly would have tried to continue playing with Camilla. I think that we're like, you're better together, and I think that like we could have figured out a way to keep it running, although it would have been significantly harder.
And last night when Joe's tribe went to tribal council, he mentioned to Jeff that he was still kind of haunted by being betrayed by you and Camilla all of these years later. Were you surprised to hear that Joe is still affected by that?
Surprised because this game is very difficult. Joe and I had a very close relationship in the game. I think Joe is awesome, and I think that like it's tough to process these things even afterwards. And of course, right, Joe is thrown back into Survivor again. He's back into this place, so I'm sure that those feelings probably bubbled up in a lot of ways that I'm unable to even like comprehend. So I'm not surprised, but like I hope Joe knows that I got nothing but love for him, and that none of that was malicious.
When you look back on your time on season 50, what is your happiest memory?
Oh man. I think my happiest memory in a lot of ways is that blackjack conversation that we were having right before Jeff pulled up. I think it was really indicative of our tribe. Q and Angelina were arguing about blackjack. This blackjack that started because Q and I were arguing about whether Q could beat the casino or not. And like our tribe is this one where online when it got released, people were like, "Oh, this is gonna be this is no brainer. This is gonna be a disaster tribe." And yeah, sure, we have a bunch of different people with very big personalities and a lot of characters, but we came together and we melded and we built our shelter so efficiently. We were just great. We were cohesive, and I was really proud of that. And I just had fun like hearing these stories from people and like getting to know them personally.
And when I found out there would be 3 winners on this season, I was worried for you all because I thought you would be easy targets. But that doesn't seem to be happening. Were you surprised that you that nobody was really targeting you, at least not in the first episode?
I was scared going into 50 that I would be a target, but once the dynamics of the tribe shook out and I got to have conversations with people and learn about them, I was like, oh, I'm going to mesh well with this group of people. And so I was like, you know what? I think I'm in a good spot. So I wasn't surprised that I integrated quickly because like I love people. And I think that shows on me. And sometimes it's not always reciprocated. Sometimes people don't like that, but I happen to be with a group of people who did. And I think that really mattered for my game and allowed me to sort of insulate myself for the four days that I was there.
And you had some legends on your tribe, Colby, Stephanie, Aubrey. I mean, what was it like? I'm sure you're a huge Survivor fan, like I am. What was it like, going toe to toe with Colby or working with him?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I love Colby. I got along with Colby from the moment we started working on the shelter together. He's just like he's just a good dude. And so we were just like mucking it up, having a good time, and like telling stories about like I told him about when I went to Cuba. He was talking about taking his dad to Africa, these trips, and like how he sees the world and like this sort of lighthearted and like awesome way. I think we got along great. And like you see in the challenges, it's Colby and me going in the boat. It's me and Colby pulling the cage, right? And I just felt like we had this awesome relationship, and I think he's a great guy. So I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe that I get to like say that I like competed alongside Colby Donaldson. Like it was awesome.
Besides Joe and Camilla, who from season 48 do you wish had been on 50 and that you could have really, really worked well with?
Well, Eva's like a little sister to me, so I think Eva and I would always do some damage. We have a lot of great contenders, though. David is incredibly smart. Mitch is an awesome person. Mary's young. There's Bianca, Thomas. Like I could list so many people. There's a lot of great players in 48.
If Mike White is watching this, do you want to be on the White Lotus? You pitch to Mike White. What character would you want to play on the White Lotus?
Yeah. Mike would put me on the White Lotus because I wouldn't want to be on the White Lotus. I'd be terrible. He doesn't need me. America doesn't need the world does not need me acting because White Lotus is so big. Maybe he'd let me like help write a scene or something. I got good ideas. I can't execute. I don't have the talent that he has with a pen. But I'd love to be a fly on the wall and just see how the sausage is made one day because I think that's just so cool. You can even tell in the confessionals just how creative his mind is and like how open-hearted he is about just like the experience in a way that I really do think probably colors the way he thinks about his profession. So that was really cool to see as just like a fan of the show and of him.
I just asked Jenna if she considers herself a legend. She says no. She says you have to win to be a legend. So, I mean, Kyle, you've won. Do you consider yourself a legend?
Well, I disagree with Jenna because I think she's a legend, and a legend. I don't think you need to win to be a legend. But that said, you know what? I would say I'm a legend in a weird way. I'm not a household Survivor name, but I won, and I'm proud of the game that I played, and I'm proud of the game that I played on 50. Not just because of the social stuff and everything else, but I'm proud of the way that I've allowed to let myself be taken by this game and see what happens. I think that's a big part of this thing. And I hope that there's a lot of people out there who resonate with the way that I play and how much I care about this experience and I care about the game and what goes into it. So I'm a legend. I'm a weird legend, but I'm a legend.
Do you have any regrets that anything that you would have done differently besides running up the ramp the second time?
Yeah, maybe I would have like tried to see if I could just put my butt in a weird way on my arm and have people pull me up instead of trying to put my and we couldn't stack anything, try to get up it or anything like that. But I would have just slowed down a little bit and try to get creative. That's what I've always been good at is being creative and problem solving. So that's what I would say. Try to problem solve that wall a little bit better than just brute force.
So that was Kyle. I mean, that was heartbreaking to watch at the end of the episode. And I think it proved also that Survivor is one of the rare reality shows that can still make people tear up watching it. I mean, that was hard to watch when he was leaving.
It was hard to watch it also because he's so likable that made it worse. Like if it was some villain that no one cared about, no one would give two craps. But because it's Kyle, the winner of 48, it was emotional. And it's interesting, he said he had already made it up the ramp. This is the magic of editing in Hollywood. He came down to help people, and then on the second time up, that's when he hurt his Achilles tendon.
he was in a great position too. I mean, he was someone I was watching to saying he could be a potential double winner. Like this could be his second time.
100%.
We'll never have that chance to see.
So Jenna was one of the OGs, and it was her or Cirie or Ozzy. Those were the three names that were being.
I was fuming. Going into the first tribal, and the first target is going to be Cirie, Jenna, or Ozzy, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was fuming with Jenna, like, why would you go right after Cirie like that? And she clarified in your interview that it was Christian's idea.
Bad boy Christian going after Cirie.
I like Christian so much.
But yeah, as an OG fan, an old school fan, I was a little bit like freaking out too. I'm like, I don't want an OG to go, but this is going to happen every other week. We're going to lose an OG. So we're going to have to get used to it.
And I really was thinking it was going to be Cirie, and then they had me convinced it was going to be Ozzy. But Cirie, I mean, she did blow that challenge. I mean, this is her MO. She just cannot do these challenges, and it was bad.
And according to Jenna, it was Cirie's decision. She was adamant that she wanted to be the one to throw the ball. And why put yourself in that position, Cirie? I guess Cirie had practiced, but still. Rough.
Jenna said to Ozzy, we have one person that's 55 who can't swim and can't run. So shady.
Awkward. So another season, another ton of advantages. Too many to keep track of.
I hate them.
And, this is fans in the hands of the fans, they're calling it. And we all voted for advantages, so this is what we get. I'm going to run through these. Q has lost a vote. Colby has lost a vote. Savannah has a vote block. Ozzy has an extra vote and an immunity idol, which is good until the final 5. Now, he doesn't know this is a Billie Eilish boomerang idol. What do you think of the boomerang idol?
I'm just already annoyed by everything you just said. It's like way too much shit. Way too much is going on. No one's going to remember. This person has a vote. This person lost a vote. It's just plan a couple hidden idols, and that's good enough. The everything else is way too much.
So the Boomerang Idol is a new one this year. Billie Eilish is promoting it. If Genevieve is the one that found it. She sent it to Ozzy. If Ozzy goes home with it in his pocket, it will boomerang back to Genevieve.
And Genevieve gave it to him thinking he's been dumb enough to do this before. Yeah. She's banking that he'll be dumb enough to go home with an idol in his pocket again. And he has been on this season saying he's learned from his past. He's going to be more strategic this season. So we'll see.
We'll see. He's going by Oscar now, he said. But I noticed that in the lower thirds, he's still Ozzy. But
yeah, good luck, Oscar.
And also somebody on social media, I don't know who it is. So I'm sorry, I can't name drop you, but they have counted all of the confessionals from episode 1, a 3-hour episode. Guess who has the most confessionals?
Well, I know because you showed me.
Ozzy has 19. To compare, Tiffany has 1. Dee has 1. Ozzy, 9.
But this is the thing, though. He went on that first challenge with Q and Coach. So, that's a whole thing.
And then they slept overnight. It became Exile Island.
He was on Exile Island with Q. So that's another thing. He has been given 2 advantages. That's another thing.
Yeah.
And then he was targeted. That's another thing. So the most happens to Ozzy, to be fair, in the first episode.
Yeah, he had a lot going on. Q has a lot of confessionals also with 9. Coach has 8. Who else has a lot? Savannah has 9.
Those are the 3 that had their own airtime. So it's really not surprising. I was wondering if it was going to correlate with how soon people go home. Are they front-loading their story because they're about to get the boot? That's my question.
So Kyle had 4 and Jenna had 4. So not too bad. I mean, they're not in Tiffany or Dee territory with 1. So speaking of Ozzy, him and Coach had a little rift. Tell us about that.
I mean, it just happened in the challenge. Ozzy was like, okay, this is taking forever to get this stupid key off. Whoever gets it, we'll let them have it. We're not going to fight for it once it drops to the sand. Well, him and Q sort of agreed to that. Coach remained silent, and then Ozzy got the key off, and Coach snagged it for himself. Ozzy was pissed. Mm-hmm. As Ozzy, if I were Ozzy, I would be a little salty. If I were Coach, I would have done the exact same thing.
There's no rules on Survivor.
No. So rehashing that, I love that they're fighting. I love that when it was brought up to Coach and he found out that Ozzy was mad, he said, "Eat my shorts."
Yeah, when Mike White went on the journey and found out more information. He came back and told Coach. Coach was acting very weird. Like his honor had been tarnished.
Yeah.
By the way, Mike White has abs now.
Yeah.
Good for you.
He's looking good. And very relatable on the show. Like he's not this like Hollywood Emmy force on Survivor. He like did a really good job of like right away bringing himself down on their level and not making it seem like it was going to be awkward.
And he said multiple times, he's just there to have fun. I don't even know if he wants to win. He's just there to make to have an experience. And I'm waiting for the moment when Jeff Probst calls out Mike and says, "Hey, Mike, you have 3 Emmys? I have 4." I'm waiting for that to happen.
TikTok, though. I mean, White Lotus is in production.
So now that we've seen the first 3 hours, who are you now rooting for to win? Because beforehand, you said you were rooting for Aubrey?
I'm still rooting for Aubrey, and I will just say that I'm rooting for her and Genevieve, which is why one of my favorite moments of the episode was those two, like, it was like they came upon each other as like alley cats and raised their backs and just hissed at each other and then moved on. Like almost nothing was said. It was so awkward. They both were like, "I don't trust you. I don't trust you either." And then it was over. And I was like, this is great. I hope they become best friends and go to the end of the game together. But it seems unlikely. But those are my 2 favorite so far.
I love that image of the alley cats. I'm rooting for any of the original players, any of the old school people that we've come to love over the years. Coach, Colby, Ozzy, Cirie, any of these folks, I would love to have a trophy. And even Mike White, he was season 30 something, but I still consider him old school because it was before the new era.
Christian, I'm also behind. And how badass was it when he made fire out of his glasses?
Why don't they do that every season?
That was so badass.
This should be something, just bring glasses as pretend like you can't see anything and just bring glasses to the island. Everybody from season 51 and on, you need to bring glasses.
Yeah, and he has a secret son he's not telling them about.
Why is that? Why is he not telling anyone?
I guess he doesn't want to have a backstory. People are always worried, what's your story going to be in Final Tribal? So he doesn't want them to be like, oh, he has a kid, they're going to give him money. He wants to just reveal that at the end.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think I would give this an 8 out of 10. It was a little long.
3 hours is completely unnecessary.
Yeah. How would you rate it?
Like a 7. I was just so annoyed that someone was medevaced and that it was Kyle. He was one of my favorites.
At least it was something serious. Like he didn't cut his wrist and then have to go home. Like that was a serious injury. And 8 months later, he still has not gone on a full jog. So this is something that I know that makes really affected him. And I'm glad he's better.
And the comps are such a snooze, like race to a puzzle again and again and again.
We're over it.
Yeah. So boring. I'm sick of their puzzles.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for watching our deep dive into Survivor 50, the season premiere. We will be back in future weeks to talk with more of the outcasts.